What is the real value of a human head count? For the crew of the MV Outer Edge on January 25, 1998, that number represented a devastating mistake. They had 28 passengers on the manifest, but when they left St. Crispin's Reef, they abandoned 2 of them in the ocean. This isn't just about Tom and Eileen Lonergan being left behind. It's about the evidence they left behind. Evidence that would emerge months later, bringing a message of terror and a mystery that would change the diving industry forever. The story of Tom and Eileen Lonergan starts not in water, but as a tale of shared adventure. Thomas Joseph Lonergan, born on December 28, 1964, and Eileen Cassidy Haynes, born on March 3, 1969, were college sweethearts from Louisiana State University. They bonded over their passion for learning and a desire to engage with the world. This connection deepened when they married on June 24, 1988, in Jefferson, Texas. Instead of following a traditional career path after school, they chose to join the Peace Corps. This decision reflected who they were. They were active participants seeking to make a real difference, not just tourists. Their first 2-year assignment took them to the remote Funafuti Atoll in the small South Pacific nation of Tuvalu. Life there required resilience, adaptability, and strong mutual support. Having successfully completed this challenging service, they were preparing for their next assignment in Fiji in early 1998. The scuba diving trip to Australia's Great Barrier Reef was meant to be a stunning break between their postings, a chance to see one of nature's wonders. They arrived at the marina on January 25, 1998, prepared, enthusiastic, and together. They brought their dive gear, passports, and wallets, all in one bag. A bag whose contents would spark a desperate search and a haunting mystery later. They were smart, experienced, and responsible, the last people anyone would expect to fall victim to such a critical failure. January 25, 1998, began bright and clear over the Coral Sea, promising a perfect day for diving at St. Crispin's Reef. Tom and Eileen Lonergan, about 26 other divers, and a crew of 5 were on board the MV Outer Edge, operated by Outer Edge Dive. The mood was likely relaxed and excited, filled with the familiar sounds of tanks clanging and divers getting ready. The couple joined in on the initial dives, enjoying the vibrant coral and marine life that make the Great Barrier Reef famous. The last dive of the day started around 2:30 p.m. As Tom and Eileen descended into the blue silence, they entered a stunning world unaware of the catastrophic events unfolding above. Back on the MV Outer Edge, the crew prepared for the 3 p.m. departure. The critical safety protocol, a detailed head count of every passenger, was either grossly neglected or not done at all. Reports later indicated that a crew member may have quickly scanned the deck or counted dive bags instead of people. In the chaos after the dive, with passengers scattered, some sunbathing and others below deck, no one noticed the absence of 2 people. No roll call was taken. At 3 p.m., the engine started, the anchor was raised, and the MV Outer Edge set off for Port Douglas. Meanwhile, below the surface, Tom and Eileen Lonergan finished their safety stop or started their final ascent. When their heads emerged from the water, they did not see their boat, but an empty horizon. The vessel was already a distant speck, its engine noise fading into the vast silence of the open ocean. They were abandoned. For 48 hours, there was no alarm, no panic. The MV Outer Edge finished its journey, passengers disembarked, and the crew carried on with their work. The Lonergan's bag, containing their wallet, passport, and personal items, was left unnoticed on the boat. The crisis first arose not from a cry for help, but from a quiet discovery on January 27th. A crew member noticed the unattended bag and, upon checking its contents, felt a wave of horror wash over them. Authorities were promptly notified, revealing the grim truth: Tom and Eileen Lonergan had been left behind. A massive air and sea search soon began in a frantic race against time. The Australian Navy, Air Force, and volunteer mariners scoured a vast part of the Coral Sea around St. Crispin's Reef. Pilots squinted against the sun's glare on the water, searching for any signs of life jackets, bright colors, or waving arms. Ships cut through the waves, their crews hoping to find the couple alive, possibly hanging on to a piece of driftwood or managing to reach a remote corner of the reef. However, the search started too late, 2 days after they had been abandoned. The ocean is unforgiving. The chances of survival decline with each hour. After 3 intense days covering thousands of square miles, the official search was called off on January 28th. No trace of the couple was found. Tom and Eileen Lonergan were presumed dead, their lives seemingly lost to the vast blue expanse. The case appeared to have reached a tragic conclusion. The ocean would eventually give up its secrets, revealing cryptic and heartbreaking clues about the Lonergans' fate. The first clue appeared in February 1998 when a wetsuit matching Eileen's size washed ashore in North Queensland. The suit was covered in barnacles, showing it had been underwater for weeks, consistent with the timeline of their disappearance. Examiners noted specific tears near the buttocks and armpits, likely caused by sharp coral, suggesting a desperate struggle or being dragged across the reef by currents. Then, in June 1998, a fisherman made a significant find on a beach near Port Douglas, about 75 miles from St. Crispin's Reef. He discovered the Lonergans' buoyancy control devices, their inflatable dive jackets, marked with their names. Along with them were their air tanks and one of Eileen's fins. The most chilling item recovered was a worn diver's slate. Etched upon it was a message, a timestamp of despair. It read, Monday, Jan 26, 1998, 8 a.m. To anyone who can help us, we have been abandoned on A. Gincourt Reef by MV Outer Edge, 25 Jan 1998, 3 p.m. Please help to rescue us before we die. Help, help. This message recorded their prolonged ordeal. It proved they survived the first terrifying night, were aware of the date, time, and the boat's name, and had drifted to a reef known as Agincourt.
They managed to document their plight for any possible rescuer. This single item transformed the mystery, offering a heartbreaking glimpse into their 52-hour fight for survival. The recovered evidence while answering some questions, sparked intense speculation and debate about the couple's final hours. In the absence of bodies, various theories were suggested, including the wild notion that the Lonergans had staged their own disappearance. Investigators quickly dismissed this theory, since their bank accounts remained untouched and no insurance claims were filed. A more painful theory arose when parts of Tom Lonergan's diary leaked to the media. Pages described a man contemplating a quick and peaceful death, while Eileen's writings showed her commitment to stay with him regardless of the outcome. This led to speculation about a possible suicide pact. However, Eileen's parents, John and Kate Haynes, strongly opposed this narrative. They claimed the diaries had been taken out of context, and only selected excerpts were leaked to create a sensationalized story. Coroner Noel Noonan and the Port Douglas police backed their viewpoint, saying the majority of the diaries presented a different picture. The official inquest examined the evidence. Experts testified that based on the condition of the recovered gear, which showed no signs of a shark attack, the couple likely perished due to natural elements. Prolonged sun exposure, dehydration, and nighttime hypothermia would have led to confusion. In a state of delirium, it is common for victims to remove their clothing or life-saving gear. The coroner ultimately ruled out theories of suicide or a staged disappearance, formally stating that Tom Lonergan and Eileen Lonergan were unlawfully killed due to the dive operation's negligence. The legal battle that followed the inquest resulted in Jeffrey Ian Nairn, the skipper of the MV Outer Edge, being charged with the unlawful killing of Tom and Eileen Lonergan. The trial drew national media attention, focusing on every detail of that tragic day. Nairn's defense claimed the couple might have surfaced away from the boat and chosen to swim, which the jury found unconvincing. In the end, he was acquitted of manslaughter charges. However, Outer Edge Dive faced consequences, pleading guilty to negligence and receiving a fine. The company, its reputation severely damaged, soon shut down. The most significant result of this tragedy was not the court verdict, but sweeping reforms in the industry. The Lonergan case caused what some called a crisis of confidence in North Queensland's diving industry. In direct response, the Queensland government implemented strict new safety regulations for all diving and tourism vessels. The key change was introducing a dual sign-off system, requiring both the captain and the dive master to independently verify a physical head count of all passengers before the boat departs. This simple check, which takes just seconds, is now the legacy of Tom and Eileen Lonergan. It's a rule born from their nightmare, aiming to prevent other people from facing such unthinkable abandonment. So, we are left with this: a plastic slate, a few scratched words, and an ocean of unanswered questions. We know the boat left. We know they survived the night. We know they wrote this message. But we never found the final chapter of Tom and Eileen Lonergan's story. What do you think happened after that Monday morning message? Share your theories in the comments below. We read every one. If these deep-sea mysteries intrigue you, support the channel by liking this video and subscribing to City Shadows Unsolved for more investigations into stories the world almost forgot.
The truth is still out there.